What's up, guys? Welcome back to Sunday Sports Club podcast, a podcast all about sports told by a woman, and that woman is me. Hi, guys. I'm Allison Cooch, and today we have on Shelby, who, when I think of people that have their shit together, I think of Shelby, okay? Sad to savage, habits, planning, routine, like, kind of, how would you describe yourself to somebody?
I always describe myself as a big sister who is obsessed with self-improvement, getting your life together, figuring out how to accomplish your goals. And I really learned it because I am a big sister and I wanted to help my siblings. I'm also really sociable. And I always tell people I'm type B, except I always mess up and say I'm plan B, that learned how to be type A to be successful.
Okay.
So I'm kind of like a get your life together and figure it out type of person.
What is your sign?
I'm a Pisces.
Okay.
But there's two types of Pisces. So there's one that's emotional and then there's one that's creative. And I like to say I'm the creative, but my husband will say I'm the emotional.
Of course you will.
Yeah, so I'm kind of both.
Okay, well, I am so excited to talk with you because not only because selfishly, I'm like, how do I get my life together? But also because it's a new year and I feel like people like to like jumpstart the new year. I like any excuse to like jumpstart like or try something new, something fresh. You don't have to have a new year to like do all these new routines, but I think it's good time to like renew that. So before we dive into habits, I want to start with you. What are some of your favorite habits that have changed your life?
I have so many. I was thinking about this. So when I decided to change my life, I started by just waking up a little bit earlier because I figured people that wake up early have their life together. And at the time, I was working from home because it was COVID, and I was waking up at 9 a.m. for my 9 a.m. meetings at work. And I was like, I'm going to get fired. Like, I'm literally joining this call half asleep, or the calls would end and had fallen back asleep and I'd still be on the call like for an hour and a half. I'm like, I need to get it together. So I started waking up a little bit earlier, and that habit was the first thing that really showed me I did have control over changing my life. So I'd say waking up early has helped me in every area because now I'm able to not only work out, do things for my mental health, work on my relationship in the morning. There's so many things that I can do because I wake up early that's one of my favorites. I do a lot of habits around just like self-love and confidence, which have changed my life because it's allowed me to grow as a person, but also grow in my career. And other habits that I really, really love would probably be anything to do with fitness, because I learned that fitness isn't just for your body, it's for your mental health too. So I'm like, wait, I could list like 50 habits. And I'm like, wait, this one's my favorite. This is my favorite.
But now you don't get up at like 8 a.m. before a 9 a.m. meeting. You get up at like 5 a.m.?
Yeah, I get up at 5 every day. I have for the last 5 years. I'm about to hit 5 years. And I am convinced that I will never not do this, which is crazy because I would have never described myself as a morning person before intentionally creating the habit. Yeah. I'm like a born night owl. Actually, I was a basement child. So because I'm one of 6 kids, my parents literally shoved my ass in the basement when I was like 9 with my older sister. And because of that, my parents were so busy upstairs with the little kids, they didn't check on us, so I could stay up till like 3 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
So we would watch Degrassi, me and my sister in the basement, literally till 3 a.m. every night. So I developed this really bad habit of staying up all night and then sleeping in. So then when I started waking up early, I realized how crucial it was to actually being successful and letting me reach my goals. So now I'll never go back. So I'm up every day at 5.
Well, I have so many questions, just you waking up at 5. First thing, what time do you go to sleep?
I go to sleep at 10 p.m., 10 to 10:30, except when things get crazy in my life. So like work gets like really, really busy, or I'm just more stressed out. My worst habit, I'm like, wait, we might as well just say it right up front, is that I'll sacrifice sleep because I'll never sacrifice my morning routine because it's so crucial.
Crazy. That's like determination though. Like you're making the decision like no matter what, I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. every day.
I know that routine, like going and working out, walking, making a healthy breakfast, doing my affirmations, my devotional in the morning, everything that I do, if I were to miss that, it throws off everything where I can plan in advance to get to bed earlier the next day.
Okay.
So I always sacrifice sleep a little bit, but my goal is always to be in bed by 10 p.m. asleep.
Okay. And then second question, how long did it take for your body and your mental to like catch up with waking up at 5 a.m. every day? Because I'm sure people are like, oh, I would love to do that, but that sounds absolutely horrible.
Oh, wait, I love that you asked this question because I think a lot of people think you go from 9 a.m. Sleeping in through your meetings to, okay, I'm waking up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
When I started doing it, I started waking up just 15 to 20 minutes earlier
and
then getting the hang of that because your body does take a second to literally readjust.
Yep.
And then there's the whole, if you're waking up a little bit earlier, you have to shift what time you're going to bed just a little bit. So I had a lot of trial and error, which is why I love teaching it on social media,
Yeah.
just habits in general, where I was like, okay, hold on. If I've been going to bed at 2 to 3 a.m. since I was 9 years old, I'm not all of a sudden going to be like, oh, okay, let's go to bed at 10.
Yeah.
Which my nighttime routine, it took me 4 months to actually grasp it and understand it, that you can't just go from like 2 a.m. to 10 p.m. So I started shifting a little bit earlier every morning and then shifting a little bit later. So I'd do that, say wake up 15 to 20 minutes earlier for 2 to 3 weeks, let my body adjust. And then I'd be like, wait, I'm so excited. I feel like this actually made sense.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like now I can go a little bit earlier. So I went from like 8:40 to 8:30 to 8:15, 8 o'clock, down to 7:45, 7. I started doing bigger jumps as I kind of got the hang of it because I knew how to shift. And then I worked down to like 6:45, 6:15, 5:30, 5:25. So it was kind of over the course of a few months where I think when you see it from that perspective and you're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense because you can let your body adjust over time opposed to 9 a.m. to 5 a.m. It really works out. I have a lot of friends that'd be like, wait, I want to wake up early. And they would try it their way first and be like, wait, this is horrible.
Me. I'm like, I'll just wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, because you want to, right? Like when you feel ready to change your life, you're like, okay, I want to do it today. And I think that's where a lot of people get tripped up with like New Year's or new habits or new goals is going 0 to 100. But when you realize making small changes that you can keep consistent, that are realistic, that's how you'll actually progress over time and set yourself up for success because you're also not overwhelming yourself and you're making it something that you actually could do opposed to something that you could only do if you were insanely motivated in the moment. Yeah. If that makes sense.
Like my husband's definitely a 0 to 100. It works for him, great. But I'm more of like, okay, I feel like I won't stick with a habit if I do it overnight. Like I almost need to gradually do it where like, oh, if I'm trying to eat healthier, like instead of getting fries, I'll get a salad every time. And then it's like, oh, well, instead of getting a burger, maybe I'll get like a full salad with chicken. And like the smaller gradual changes. And then it's like less scary.
Yeah, I love that example because it really is little tweaks, especially when it comes to nutrition. That's another huge thing that I love talking about because I didn't understand nutrition for the like when I actually sat down and thought about it and started researching it and learning about it. I'm like, wait, what? Like, how did I not know what any of this meant? But little swaps to your diet make the biggest change opposed to when people think, oh, I can never eat this again. Oh, I'm cutting out all sugar, all of this. I learned when I was learning about nutrition, I learned what coffee creamer actually was, which sounds so dumb because I'm like, I was obsessed with it. I would literally drink it out of the carton. It's so like and my sisters would be like, are you okay? And I'm like, yum, this is so good. And then when I realized that I was abusing coffee creamer on a daily basis, like actually I measured it out and I realized I was having the equivalent to eating an entire cake a day in saturated fats in just coffee creamer. So then when I made that tweak and understood it and could change that, I lost, I think, like 8 pounds in 2 weeks from a small change to my diet. Nothing else.
That's even just like, think of like how many drinks you have a day. If you're like, okay, I drink a coffee a day, I drink a Coke a day, and then I like to have like, I don't know, like something flavored in my water. It's like that's, if you just cut out that and just replace it with water.
Yeah, or even swap to like a healthier alternative of like, okay, sugar-free or like a 0-calorie pop instead of. It's so wild figuring out those little tweaks. And that's kind of how it is with all habits. Like it's like the littlest change.
It's so interesting to think about. Okay, so going back to the 5 a.m. thing, you just got married.
Yes.
And you guys just moved into a new house. Does your husband wake up at 5 a.m. every day?
No. So he does not. And every single morning when I wake up, when I like film a morning routine, I'll just stand and stare at him.
No, please. I literally know what you're talking about.
It is my favorite thing and it's so stupid. I don't know why I started doing it, but I just stand above him and stare at him. Now he wakes up. I don't know when he wakes up because I'm gone, but by the time I get back from my workout, he's awake. Okay. So I know it's at some point, but so many people will say like, oh, do you ever just want to like lay with your husband or like, are you cozy in bed and you want to get up? And I'm like, I feel like I'm honestly better than him sometimes. I'm like, he's still sleeping and I'm up. Yeah. But he wakes up early, just not the same time as me, which when we started living together, he moved in with me at our old house and we didn't immediately share a room, which was funny because he moved in and I was like, ew, you're actually like a guy.
I kind of like loved that. I saw that on social media and I was like, wait, I feel like more couples should do that. Like have their own space.
I'm the biggest advocate for it. It is the best thing that ever happened. And the only reason we did it is because he moved in really suddenly. Like we weren't planning on it, but he had actually lived with my sister and her husband, which is another side thing. And I was moving to North Carolina and he was going to move with me.
Interesting.
But my sister and her husband were trying for a baby, so he had to leave because they needed his room. So instead of getting a lease, I'm like, oh, you're going to move with me. Just move in with me a little early. So then I was like, wait, I don't want to share my room yet. Like, I love my room.
You're like, wait, I was actually not ready to give that up.
I'm like, wait, if you move in with me, that means you're going to live in here? Actually, no way. And he's the messiest person ever, which no shame because I was too. So I'm not like against him, but I'm just like, wait, you can be messy anywhere else but my space. So when he first moved in with me and we did separate bedrooms, I got to see how he lived and I got to see how I lived. And I was like, there's no world where we coexist and don't get in a fight if you're in my space. But if you're in your own room, it doesn't bother me. So we've kind of continued that into our new house where he has his own bedroom, I have my own bedroom. And then sometimes now that we're actually like married, he sleeps in my bed all the time.
Yeah.
But I'll tease him. I'm like, get out of my room. I'm like, you're not sleeping in my bed tonight. I'm like, did you shower? He's like, yeah. I'm like,
You're like, yeah. It is so interesting because like then you shouldn't make your relationship a reason or like an excuse for why you can't change your own life.
Yes. I think a lot of people do struggle with that because you either kind of fall into habits with your partner or they have something and it's easier to kind of justify not doing something because the other isn't, where say like it's waking up and you're like, wait, but my partner isn't waking up. I'm like, wait, just tell them that you're better than them and get up. But
you're like, so get up.
Yeah. But I think that when you sit down and like make your own goals or what you want for your life, you're not always going to be matching your partner. Cause like my husband has similar goals to me, but they're still separate where he likes to like do different things after work where I would rather do everything in the morning.
Yep.
So when you can like look at your own goals and separate and say, okay, like we can help each other and encourage each other, but we don't have to do the same thing, that's really helpful. Or one thing that I suggest for people that are like, wait, I want to change my life, but my partner doesn't, is communicating your goals with that person so that they aren't kind of working against you, they're working for you.
Right. They're like, oh, just like eat the cheeseburger. Like it's one burger. And you're like, well, yeah, it's one burger. Like
you're like, but it's not my goal. Or like my husband, he would never make me sacrifice waking up early to like lay with him or do something else, or like we're both really respectful of each other's thing. That I think that that's really helpful. Even with like my family or my siblings, like they all know my goals, so they're not going to ever kind of work against me.
That's so interesting. I'm definitely hard on eyes. Like I'm like, Jesus Christ, like we get it. You're running an ultra marathon. Like you don't need to go out and run every single day. I'm like, wow, okay. Anyways, is there ever a time you turn off your habits or like your routine?
I'm like, no.
Like if you guys go on vacation.
When we go on vacation, I have kind of like a plan B that I do. So I know exactly.
Actual plan B.
Yeah, no, that's an actual plan B. I always say that and then I never catch it. And I'm like, oh my God, see, that's kind of telling the truth that I am type B.
Yeah.
But when I go on vacation, I have like a list of my habits. And at first I did this, like I pre-planned it out. Like I know what I do every morning for my morning routine and my nighttime routine. But when you're out of town or on vacation or you have like a crazier time in your life and you can't complete all of it, I have the second list that's like basically half what I normally do. So I'm not hard on myself for not being able to accomplish everything. I'm more realistic, but I still have a plan. So like if we go on vacation, I know that I'm not like doing a whole tidy up in my nighttime routine like I usually do at my house.
Yeah.
But I know that I can still do affirmations. I can still do my skincare. In my morning routine, say we're on vacation and I don't have the time to actually go work out and walk, I can choose one or the other. Or I'll always bring like my journals and my habit tracker so that I can sit down and still do those. So I kind of play around with it. Or like I got a nose job in January and thank you. I love it. Oh my God, my husband hit me in the face last night on accident while we were sleeping. And I actually was so mad. And then I Venmo requested him and I said, for hitting me in the face last night. And he's like, what are you talking about? He didn't even remember he did it because we just slept too close, like nearby. I'm like, oh my gosh. But when I got that done, I had like a whole list because my routine changed for like 6 weeks because you can't work out.
Right.
So I just made a new like temporary routine that I could follow. I think now that we're like talking out loud, the key to like being prepared for those moments is really just sitting down and spending like 20 minutes planning it out of, oh, I can't do these things, but instead of sacrificing everything, I can still do like 5%, 10%.
Well, it's interesting because whenever I think of vacation, like you do all these things to prepare for vacation and then you just kind of like let loose on vacation and don't do anything. But I almost feel like I would feel better on vacation had I like had that time or like brought some of those routines in that make me feel more confident. Like, oh yeah, going for a run, like that makes me feel better. So like, why would I not do that on vacation? And then I'm sure it like also helps not derailing everything when you get back home because it's like jumping back into everything.
That is a big piece to everything too. What I found with my habits is I'll think about like the physical health benefits, the mental health benefits, and that it's like I want kind of exactly what you said, like I want to feel good when I'm in those scenarios
Right.
on top of it. So continuing them, even if it's just a little bit, like it really does just keep me in the same mindset and routine of like who I want to be.
Well, and so now I'm curious because as a mom, I'm like, does it make you nervous, the idea of having kids and like maybe derailing like what you like a good thing going?
I'm so excited to have kids. I cannot wait. I think about this all the time because people always say it to me like, oh, wait till you have kids. You're not going to be waking up early anymore. And from my perspective, the only thing that I'm worried about is my work ethic. Like I love work.
Yeah.
I can shut myself in my office for 10 hours.
Right.
And obviously when you have kids, you can't just be like, bye.
You can't do that.
Can't see you later, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that I'm more concerned about, that I'll want to focus more obviously on my family than
Right.
work, which scares me because I really like my career. But in terms of habits and routines, I think it sounds almost really exciting that I get to figure out like a new
like,
kind
challenge.
of normal. Yeah, like I love a challenge. I love a goal.
Right.
So I like the idea of, okay, I have this new phase where I get to figure out like a new morning routine that works for me and my family, or a new nighttime routine, or like a new gym routine. And I've even started talking to my husband. We like sit down and have these like little like monthly check-ins of, we both know each other's priorities when it comes to like our health, our fitness, like things that we really love. And we've already started discussing kind of what's going to happen, who's going to get when. Like I already claimed the morning of like working out up front. I'm like, listen, before we get into this, this is what's going to happen for me. And he can claim like the night. So we're already kind of thinking about those things, but I'm really excited for it, outside of the fact that I'm like, wait, am I going to like to work anymore? Like I just love it so much. But
there's so many parts to that. First off, the morning routine, it's almost more like necessary when you have kids, because your kids are like, oh, I'm not getting up at 5 a.m. I mean, as babies, right? Like there's growing pains there. But when I think of like, oh, when can I have time to myself? It's always the morning. Like,
yeah,
because I'm like, I don't want to get to 7 p.m. and then be like, oh, I'm going to go work out. No, that sounds horrible. But like waking up at 5 a.m. sounds less scary when I'm like, oh, I get to dedicate that to myself and like do all these things. The first year of postpartum was actually the hardest for me because I like working so much and I like having time to like sit at my computer and get my emails done and like plan out things. And so I think that was like the scariest part. But then after a year, I'm like, okay, I'm like, now I'm not even scared for a second kid, because I'm like, oh, it was such a shell shock that going into the second kid, I'm like, well, I already know what to expect.
Yeah, you're like, this is not my first rodeo anymore. But it makes sense because you are in this like new phase of life where you can't even truly predict like how you're going to feel, what's going to happen,
Right.
how things are going to change. But I'm so excited for you to have your second baby. It's so exciting.
It's going to be, I'm sure there's going to be like growing pains as well with the second one, but like it's fun, right? And like I already did it the first time, so hopefully it'll.
Yeah, you'll already have like a path that you can
Yes.
follow, and then you'll figure out more things.
Yeah, exactly. Like, sure. What are some questions you ask people for like you helping figure out their routine for their morning or night?
I'll usually sit with someone and say, what are your like non-negotiables that you want to do every morning? So like, for example, with you and your daughter, you guys probably have like a little routine already going.
Yeah.
Like you have to get her up and either like obviously feed her and like
she has to eat, she has to get her hair done, and that's kind of it. I mean, get dressed.
So I always ask like those non-negotiables, and then I'll ask someone what is a problem that they're kind of dealing with right now, or something that would improve their life that they'd want to add in. And then from there, you can kind of look at someone's morning or night and find little pockets of time or create those pockets of time.
Yeah.
Because to change your life, you need to create the time to do it, because everyone already has their own like schedule or things needed of them or things that could take their time. So finding those pockets is so important. Like, for example, if you were like, I really want to focus on my health, or I'm doing really bad with fueling my body because I don't have enough time, it'd be looking at your schedule and saying, okay, if your daughter's getting up at this time and you know that this is the routine you're following with her, can we build in 15 minutes right before, where you're only waking up 15 minutes earlier? Or in your nighttime routine, say you're struggling with making like breakfast for yourself, can you pre-prep that for 10 minutes before bed? So it's really looking at both of those times. And then I think the hardest part for people when they're changing their lives or creating morning routines or night times is really just knowing what to do. But like if you were sitting with someone and said, here's step by step what to do, anyone could follow it. It's really just like sitting and finding those times.
I think that it's hardest. Like, I know what to do to change my life, right? Like, if I woke up at 5 a.m., I immediately like started working out like in my home gym. Like, that takes out like having to drive to a gym, right?
Yeah.
And then I made breakfast for myself immediately after. And then I like sat down and journaled. Like that sounds so like rejuvenating, but I'm like, why don't I just do that? It's almost like you have to find the way to make the most out of your time.
Yes. And find something that's like attractive to you, that's not overwhelming, that's not once a week, that you truly can stick with. So, like for you, I would say to start with just that morning workout and habit stacking. That morning workout with habit stacking is just when you take something that you're already going to do and you pair it with something that you get to do. Well, there's two different ways of habit stacking, but that's the one that I prefer to talk about. And then the other is when you have a habit and immediately after you stack another habit on top of it.
Okay.
But for the example of you just focusing on waking up and going to your home gym and habit stacking, so taking something else and pairing it, say you want to learn more about nutrition or you want to learn more about or just want to have time for yourself in general, you can stack that with listening to a podcast. So you're working out, but you have that podcast on.
Okay.
And then from there, you could say, okay, right after I'm done working out for just 5 minutes, I'm going to have my journal already sitting in the gym. So it's already right there. I can already visually see it. And you can go over and write for 5 minutes. Or even 1 minute. Like you just want to write one affirmation to yourself. Like just making it so easy so that you can get the hang of it. Because then your brain and your body will actually get to see the benefits of it.
Yeah.
And then that kind of builds momentum on its own of, okay, I feel really good when I do this. I made it as easy as possible for myself and I can follow this. And then you can add more kind of as you get the hang of it.
Resolutions come and go, but real lasting growth takes time, and that's why I love Nutrafol. It isn't promising a miracle in 30 days. They're here to help you grow your hair and your confidence from within, one day at a time. You guys, I do have to say that Nutrafol was there for me throughout postpartum, more specifically. I took it before I got pregnant, and I loved using it then, but at a time where you're so desperate for your hair to stop falling out in clumps, the Nutrafol postpartum formulation was such a game changer for me. And I don't say that lightly. Around 4 months postpartum, my hair was just coming out in clumps and I was looking for any which way to get it at least to, stop like 50%. And I started taking the Nutrafol postpartum. It didn't happen overnight, but over a few months, it just gradually started increasing, not only like less hair falling out, but also just the look and feel of my hair. So if you guys are new to Nutrafol, it is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. And Nutrafol's hair growth supplements are peer-reviewed, NSF certified for sport, and clinically tested to measure improvements in growth, quality, and strength. You guys can see thicker, stronger, faster growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code Sunday. Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code Sunday. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Sunday. As you guys know, I'm expecting baby number 2, and I'm fully planning on trying out the whole breastfeeding journey again. And I do say again because I exclusively pumped with my daughter. And towards the end of my pumping journey, it just became so tiresome. I also just wanted to start weaning, and I immediately turned to Bobbie formula. It is the formula that I kept in my pantry just in case I had any emergency or if breastfeeding didn't work out for me. I had researched Bobbie, and I felt so good and comfortable feeding my daughter that. And so she took it for about a month or two towards the end of my pumping journey. And I will definitely keep it stocked in our pantry if anything happens for baby number 2 as well. Bobbie's organic European style infant formulas are here to help you feed your baby with confidence. Bobbie only uses carefully sourced ingredients backed by proven science. And every single batch goes through 2,000 plus safety and quality checks before leaving their U.S. manufacturing facility. So whether you're exclusively formula feeding, combo feeding, or just need a backup can in the pantry like me, Bobbie is the formula I can trust for my baby's bottle. Organic, clean label certified, high quality infant formula. I love knowing that Bobbie sweats every detail, every step, every test, every ounce, so that we as parents don't have to. If you want to feed with confidence too, head to HiBobbie, HiBobbie.com. That's HiBobbie.com to find the formula trusted by parents and loved by their babies, 700,000 and counting. So do you think habit stacking is like kind of like what actually helps propel like all the change?
I think it's like a key to it because habit stacking to me is something that creates time with the time that you already have allocated to something.
Mm-hmm.
So different examples of habit stacking that I do in my life is every day I walk on the treadmill or I walk outside. Obviously in Michigan now it's the treadmill only.
Yeah.
But when I'm on that treadmill, I have a list of things that I can do based on what's going on in my life. So typically I'll either edit from like a video that I filmed that morning.
Jesus Christ.
So I'll like use that time where I'm like, okay, I have to work,
Yeah.
but I get to walk and it's something
Yes.
that I want to do. So I'll edit, I'll go through emails, I'll plan the day. So like not all of them, I'll pick one.
Right.
Or if
Oh my God,
I'm,
you really
I'm
get
like,
lined up
I
there.
literally don't get off the treadmill until I finish my work for the day. Or I'll say, you know what? I really want to read. I do that a lot. Like I set up my Kindle in front of it because that's something that I genuinely like want to do. Like that's fun.
Like you're like, I want
to.
to read my book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, ooh, I don't have time to like sit for an hour and read, but I can do it while I walk. And then it's like, wait, I'm just like, I'm ahead of everything. Like I'm really just setting myself for success there. Or I'll sometimes just scroll on TikTok. Like I just want to like,
Yeah, you're like, I just
it's
wanna
like
do that.
rotting without rotting because I feel really good about it.
Yeah.
Or like when I do laundry, I have a specific audiobook. Like I'll always listen to self-improvement books, but I have one that's like a story. So when I'm doing laundry, I'm actually like in a book. And I look forward to doing laundry because that's also in my head, like time that I'm kind of relaxing. Like
You like associate the two.
yes. Or I hated grocery shopping, like genuinely hated it. That was like my torture for some reason. And then I would I got a special book for just the grocery store. So then I'd want to go there because I wanted to know what was happening, which took a little bit of self-control, honestly, at first. Because I'm like, wait, I could literally just turn this on right now. But then I find that if I pair and habit stack different things that I'm already doing, it makes the task so much more enjoyable. Or there's like little ones. So say you want to focus on like say as a mom, you're like, you know what, I don't have that much time for my friends or my family. Like I'm like in a different world. You could do a habit stack of anytime that you're walking, you call one person, like one of your friends, or you FaceTime someone. And that's one thing that I do because I feel like I struggle with keeping tabs, even without kids, keeping tabs on friends because I'm in my own world, that I pick like a new friend each week where I'm like, okay, I'm on a walk. I can text them for like 30 minutes. I could call them. So that's a fun way that I habit stack based on kind of what I need to focus on in that moment. So habit stacking, I think, is so powerful because you have control. It's without kind of creating the time, you find that time that you already have in your schedule and then pair it with something that you want to do. Yeah.
So for example, I hate texting people back. I feel like it's like a lot to like, oh, stop an activity fully, sit down, find the text message. My daughter's like, mommy. And I'm like, hold on. Then find the text message, respond. So you're saying like, if I want to get better at texting people back, I should stack it with something I'm doing that I'm enjoying.
Yes.
Not that I don't enjoy talking to my friends.
No,
but
texting is so hard for me too, where it literally feels like a chore. What I
well,
like to do.
because you're available to people 24/7.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy. So I don't text people back in specific times of my day. Like my morning routine, that is only time for me. And I know that's something that stresses me out and I don't want to do it. So I don't do it during that time because that's like a peaceful time. Nothing's kind of, it's for me. Same with my nighttime routine. I've found that when my husband's driving somewhere and I'm sitting in the passenger seat, that is the perfect time for me to literally start and text people. Or if I'm intentional about it, on my walks.
Okay.
So those are two times that I've found that I'm like, okay, I can't do anything else while I'm like in the car. Obviously, I'm not the one driving, but I'm like, I can't really do anything else. So I might as well sit and like respond to people. Or when I'm on airplanes, like I will do a lot of work on airplanes that I'm putting off.
I
Not
love
necessarily
an
like
airplane.
just
Well,
texting, but like anything. I'm
having
like,
a child will derail that.
and it's like, actually, wait, things
Like,
are telling me
that's
now, or I was going to find that out. I'll be like, wait a second.
No, it's actually crazy. Like whenever we travel, that is our busiest day of like not being able to do anything because it's like you, especially an infant on lap, like I genuinely don't have enough space. And like until they get to a certain age, they can't even watch screen time. So it's like you're literally entertaining for 5 hours.
Yeah, that sounds so exhausting. Actually, now that I think about it.
Literally, I'm like, I miss the times where I'm like, oh, I like, don't feel like emailing like on this plane, but I'm going to do it. And now I'm like, I wish I could email.
It's like, wait, now I'm going to really soak in when I'm on a plane until I have a
No,
baby.
you should definitely soak that. Now when our daughter is 2, I'm like, oh, she can like watch a movie from start to finish. I'm like, this is so nice. I'm like downloading stuff. I'm like, this is great. When it comes to like helping people out with their morning routines and nighttime routines, are there any red flags that you look for?
I think I'll look for like what their bad habits are or habits that don't serve them or that like are time suckers. So for example, a lot of people will watch TV before bed, which isn't a horrible thing if that's how you relax and that's how you feel comfortable. But if you're trying to change your life and you don't have time for it, that's a really easy spot to like understand what you're craving from that habit and then change it. So like, for example, say someone really wants to, say their house is really, really messy and they feel like they don't have time to clean it, which one of my favorite things ever is instead of doing like full resets or like I can't clean up after myself to save my life, but I can in my nighttime routine every night clean
Tidy.
up.
Yeah.
Where it's like one specific time. So finding that's really helpful. But what I would look at is say, okay, say you're watching TV every night for an hour to 2 hours, but you want to go to the gym, you want to clean your house, you want to do anything else. It's kind of understanding what you're craving. So are you craving like to just relax and sit down? Are you craving for your brain to be distracted? Like understanding why you're doing that. And then also, so you can either change that and say, okay, actually, maybe you don't want to do anything else. You just don't want to watch TV. You feel like that's a bad habit. You could then say, okay, I'm looking to kind of zone out or do kind of a mindless activity. You could start reading. You could just swap it with coloring. Like you could find new habits to replace it. So I like to look at what they're currently doing if it's no longer serving them to change it. Or I'll look at things like that, like big things and kind of backtrack. Like, okay, are you liking watching TV because you're spending time with your husband and you feel like you don't get to like late with them that often? And then instead, can you guys do something else where you're like cooking together? Like,
Yeah,
I'll always like kind of dissect it because once you can look at your schedule, the key to everything is looking at it and then taking like 5 steps backwards and like understanding it and building awareness so that then you can change it. Because if you just go into it like, okay, I don't want to watch TV anymore, I'm gonna get my life together and clean my house. It's like having the pieces of why you're doing it help you understand where to actually go next. And then another thing I like to do is set watching TV, if you really want to do that, at the end of the routine. So having like 1-2 steps that you're going to do before you sit down and watch TV.
Yep.
If you know once you sit down, you're like down for the night and you're like, okay, now I'm comfy. I don't want to get up and go do this. It's, oh, okay, let me do this 1-2 step and then I can go and relax and do that.
It's so interesting because like even like I like rewatch Grey's Anatomy like all the time. But
It's
I'm
my
like,
sister.
oh, I'm going to do it while I'm like doing laundry. Or like I make sure to do like I'll put it on my phone. I'm like, oh, I'm going to load something into the laundry or I'm going to reorganize like a drawer. And it's like, oh, I'm doing something productive while I'm doing something not productive.
Yeah.
And so it's like pairing the two so it feels like
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a good habit.
So I love doing that. Like my sisters would want me to watch Love Island because they would watch it and then I'd feel so left out. I'm like, I have to like figure this out, to the point where I would go on the treadmill, which I always walk in the morning, but I would go after work, walk on the treadmill just to catch up on like Love Island on TikTok so that I could talk to my sisters about it.
Yeah.
Where it's like I feel productive because I'm actually doing something with it.
Like for yourself, yes.
Yeah. Where I'm like, I need to understand this because I need to be able to talk to them and I don't want to be left out. But I do like finding that, like those little ways to stack it. Or even like making dinner and listening to like a podcast.
Yes.
Or like if you want to relax and making dinner and like listening to music. I act like I cook. I actually don't cook a thing. My husband cooks everything. But he will literally have his little iPad out while he cooks and like watch sports. And it's like so cute. Like that's like fun time for him that he does those things together.
And no, I feel like that's like how to like benefit your life in other ways, right? Like if you want to eat healthier and you're like, oh, I just like hate cooking, then do something that like you enjoy while cooking.
That kind of like brings you joy.
Yeah.
Or before I had my husband to cook every meal for me and I hated cooking, I would do that little habit with the grocery store. So I'd find a book that I love so I could make that more enjoyable. Or I would sit down and say, okay, only one time a week, I'm going to spend 1 hour just doing like all the hard work and saying, okay, here's healthy meals that I could get. Here's what I need to get from the grocery store. And then I could meal prep a little bit. And I just had that 1 hour instead of every single day where I could get prepared. That made it way easier for me.
Well, because it sounds so daunting, right? Like, oh, I want to eat healthier, so I'm going to cook every meal at home. It's like, I don't want to do that. I also don't have the time to do that. Yeah. So it's finding – essentially, it feels like what you're saying is like just having the time to sit down and like plan out your week or your life.
Yeah, and just becoming aware of – one of my favorite quotes is once you become aware, you can like change your life. Because a lot of the time you don't even know – what you're doing wrong or where you could change or where you could grow or like if one little thing was different. So like if you sit down and think about it and backtrack, you can solve anything. Like I am a firm believer that you can change your life. Like you could change absolutely anything, whoever you want to become, whatever habits you want to have, whoever you want to identify. Like you could change everything about yourself, handpick your qualities. All it is like making that decision and then slowly making small changes to get there.
a really interesting concept because then it's like, oh, if the world is your oyster, like what person do you want to be? Like what qualities do you want to?
You just have to choose it.
Yeah.
That's kind of I'm like, yeah, you just have to actually just pick.
You're just like, who do you want to be?
But I did that recently after I got my nose job. I knew that I was not going to be kind of like my normal for a while because you can't work out after. And I sat down and was like, okay, for the next year, I wanted a fat ass for so many years that was my only goal. Like I only wanted a fat ass. Like I changed my eating to help me get it. I like all my workouts only were working towards this goal. And then when I was getting my nose job, I'm like, damn, rip. I'm never going to see it again. But I was like, wait, I could actually just change. Like I've wanted this for so long. I accomplished it. Why don't I try something else?
Yeah.
So I sat down and made a plan for it. And then because I made that goal, I could make the small habit changes over the course of the last year to work towards a new goal. Where if I didn't just sit down and think, like you have to sit and pick so then you can like make choices, but you're also allowed to change along the way, which is a big thing too. Where like you could choose, say, I really wanted to be like a wellness girly, which I am now.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
congrats.
I'm like, worked out great. But if you want to pick and say, okay, I want to be someone that is really into wellness and wakes up early and does this, this, and this, on that path, like the actual journey of figuring it out, you could find, okay, wait, my mental health is doing so great because I'm running and I'm realizing I love running, and you can divert and go down a different path. And it's more like once you start, you find like what goes to you.
Well, I have to interrupt you. You were the reason that I thought like running is not as intense as like people make it out to be. Because like one day you're like, you can go as slow as you want.
I would actually be like basically like walking with like a little bounce. And I'm like, wait, I actually really love this. Like, I'm like, wait, I just did a half marathon. I'm like, people made it seem so crazy.
Well, I'm like, you don't have to go out. People make things seem so much scarier. And I think that's why people are scared to start, right?
Yeah.
So like when I thought about running, I was like, wait, I remembered like Shelby posted that video and I was like, I can like run as slow as I want to. I'm still gonna do 2 miles, but like I can run as slow as I want to. And then I look and I'm like, oh, my pace was 10:30. That's actually not bad for a beginner.
That's really good.
Like this is great. And so then from there, I'm like, oh, I know like that's my easiest. Like that's going to be easy. Like that I can do that. And then it's just like working your way up from there. Yeah. I had to interrupt you and say
no, I love that. That makes me so happy to hear.
Life. I was like, why am I I don't have to go out and run a 7-minute pace right now. I don't want to do that. But if I make my workout something enjoyable and something I want to do, I'm going to do it.
It's literally from like sports in high school where you're like, wait, I have to get a 7-minute mile. And then it's like, no, you don't. It's like, wait, who told you that? I had the same like reframe of my mind when I was running, and I had like a 12-minute pace, and I'm like, wait, I kind of like that though. Like I could actually do that all day. Yeah. Why was I gasping for air, about to throw up because I was forcing myself to run so fast?
And then look, what are the odds you're not going to do it the second day? Probably pretty high.
Yes, because if you hate it and you're dreading it, you're not looking forward to it, which is another thing with habits too, because a lot of the time people like think it has to be bad. Like it has to be this really, really hard, crazy thing, but then you're kind of deterring yourself from doing it because it was horrible. Where if you make it like easy and attractive and approachable, then you can always grow and add on to it. That summer I was in a lawsuit that summer, I will say. So I was like really into trying anything. That was also the summer the winter I did ice baths like every day. But
I remember seeing your videos of that too. Oh my gosh.
It's so funny looking back because I'm like, I was going through a hard time, but I couldn't talk about my lawsuit publicly. So I was just like, oh man, I'm a big person that I'll try anything in the name of like health or feeling better. And I saw that ice baths could help you regulate your mood. And I was like, I'm going to do it every day. I want to do it every day for like 2 months, and I'm going to see if my mood gets better. And it kind of did, because I was like, wait, if I can do this horrible thing every morning that was so hard, I could do anything. And it made my lawsuit easier. But the second that my lawsuit cleared up, I was like, man, I'm not getting back.
You're like, ice. I'm not doing the ice bath again.
I'm like, I'm not that tortured. I don't need to try it. But I was proud of myself for trying it.
Well, it's also interesting because I think of like whenever, I don't know, I've seen this on social media or the internet or wherever, but if you have something that you're not looking forward to on your to-do list, you should do it first.
I have seen that where it's like getting the hardest thing out of the way.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about in the morning working out. It is something that I love, but it is like my hardest thing that I'm doing every day. So right when I'm done with it, I get this like immediate win that then there is science behind. If you get small wins, it puts in motion other small wins. So like, for example, if you make your bed first thing in the morning, that's like registering in your brain as a small win. Like you completed this task and then it kind of puts you on a trajectory to complete more tasks. Right. Where it's like you want to set yourself up for like small wins in the morning.
Do you make your bed every day?
Every day. Sometimes when my husband first moved in with me and would like sometimes sleep in my bed, I would literally make it over him. I would get so mad. I'm like, I'd like make half of it or just tuck him in.
This like doesn't even feel like a win, really.
And he, oh my gosh. So my husband has never slept under the covers until dating me, which is the weirdest thing ever. Like, would only sleep on top of the covers because he hates making his bed, but his mom would make him make his bed every morning.
Oh my God.
So he didn't have to make it. He'd sleep on top of it.
I'm
So
like,
then,
is that laziness or like being a genius?
right? I know. I'm like, I don't know how I feel about it. When I would sleep at his house when we were dating, I'm not kidding. He would not let me sleep under the covers. Like, it was like something where I'm like, is this a deal breaker? Like, this is really weird. Like, just make your bed
Sounds
after
like
I
a red
leave.
flag.
Yeah, I'm like, this is so weird. And then when you come to my house, I'm like, no, you're getting under the covers. Like, we're not sleeping on top of my comfort. It's so weird. So his argument is like, I don't want to sleep under the covers anyway. Like, I don't want to make the bed.
Right.
Which, when he sleeps in his room, like if he falls asleep like watching football and I fall asleep reading, like we'll just sleep in separate rooms. He actually will not go under the covers. Like, he will not unmake a bed.
That's actually so weird.
It is so strange. It is actually so strange. So I remember one time I was like sleeping over and I was like drinking and I got under his covers in his bed and he's like, what are you doing? I was like, what? So I make the bed. And I don't have the expectation for him because I'm like, he really is fighting for his life to just sleep on top of the covers so he doesn't have to do it anyway, that I already do it. Which is crazy because making my bed was a small habit that helped me basically start forming other habits. So making your bed's a keystone habit, which basically means that when you start forming healthy habits in your brain, you're forming like a pathway. So when you form that pathway and you understand how to kind of create a habit in the first place, it's almost like a path in the snow. So like if you walked in a circle in the snow, you could like see the outline. The more that you keep doing it over and over, you have a clear path to follow. So then other habits have an easier time following it. Or another example of this is, say, so many snow examples. So say you were pushing like a snowball up a hill and it was really, really hard because it's like heavy, you're going up the hill and you're like thinking of that as forming a habit. By the time you get to the top of the hill and push the snowball down, it like picks up a bunch of snow. It goes super fast. That's kind of the same with a keystone habit. So when you start creating the habit of making your bed and it feels hard at first to like really stay consistent with, and then one day it doesn't, then it kind of just helps you with other little habits because you've already done a big one. You've already taught your brain kind of like how to respond to it. So making your bed is just like a huge
And it feels like an
win.
easy, like attainable thing. It's like, oh, like it takes 5 minutes. Like,
It's something you can do no matter what.
What are other keystone habits?
Exercise is one. So exercise is one that other habits become easier and like just form off of it. So like say, for example, you start working out, then maybe you start walking more, you start eating healthier. Like when you make a healthy choice,
want to do the other things.
the other healthy choices kind of like come and attach to it. So I'd say those are the two key ones. Anything really, really small is a great almost like starter habit.
Okay.
Because it kind of just like caves the way.
It's like
paves
the
way for other
momentum to
habits.
start other ones.
Yeah.
Okay. It's super interesting. Like, I do feel really good when I make my bed.
Right? It's crazy because you can look at like when you're creating new habits, you want to figure out what the reward is like in your habit loop. So in a habit loop, you have a cue, a routine, and a reward, and it follows the pathway over and over and over until you form a habit. The cue is basically what is starting the habit, what's triggering the habit loop. So a cue could be like the time of day. It could be a visual cue that you see. It could be a cue, could be like how you're feeling. And what happens next is once you get the cue, you get the routine, which is your actual habitual behavior, which could be anything like if you're actually like it could be something that you say, something that you do, different actions. It could be feelings. And then the reward is what's driving the habit loop, because when you get a cue, you want to complete the habit loop to reach the reward.
Okay.
So it's kind of crazy is when you create habits or you're looking at your habits, you are completing a habit loop, doing what you've taught yourself to do because you want the reward within that habit loop. So an example of this could be like just to fill in the blanks. Say your cue is 3 p.m. during a workday, and that's like the time Monday through Friday. The routine could be going and getting coffee, and then the reward is you have like a little bit more energy, you feel more awake, but you're not going and getting coffee to have that. Well, you are getting it to get more energy, but for example, like you at 3 p.m. you want that feeling of like a pick-me-up.
Yeah.
Where you taught yourself getting coffee is going to give you that pick-me-up, but you could also go on a walk and that could give you that pick-me-up. Or you could go and socialize for a little bit and that could give you a pick-me-up. So you basically, when you are following through in habit loops, when you can understand what your cue, routine, and reward are, you can understand why you're doing something, and then you can change any of your habits. I forget why I started saying that because there was something else that I was going to say after that.
It's super interesting though. So like if I want my body to look different, it's just like figuring out like, oh, I could eat healthier. I could like stop drinking sugary drinks. I could start exercising. I could just go for more like leisure walks. Like there's so many things that you can do to get to that reward.
Yes. And you could look at bad habits that you're doing and replace, when you want to change a habit, you figure out what your habit loop is.
Mhm.
And once you figure out what you're doing it for, you can switch out your routine for what's going to still get you there. So like, for
Okay.
example, when a good example of a habit is like when people get stressed out and say that's their cue, and maybe they struggle with say stress eating as
Mhm.
the routine. So like they go and eat and their reward is they get spikes in dopamine from eating, and what they really want there is their stress and they want to feel happy.
Right.
But they taught themselves that doing this will get them that
Right.
spike in dopamine. Where I'll like take a habit loop and dissect it and say, okay, if that's what you're craving, you just want to feel better because of your
Mhm.
stress, but you taught yourself this habit, you can swap out the routine and try something else like calling a friend, going on a walk. But when people try to change their habits, a lot of the times the first thing that you do is not going to work because everyone's different. There could be like 10
Right.
different things. It's just understanding and trying and plugging and playing with different things. So like, for example, my older sister, when she gets stressed out, she loves talking to people. Like that will help her.
I
So
thought you said talking shit about other people.
oh no.
I was like, love that.
No,
for her.
my older sister's like an angel on earth that I'm like, she is so funny. I was helping her make a nighttime routine because she has a 10-month-old. And she had to go to the hospital and get stitches because she was so proud she was doing her nighttime routine, and she like tripped in the garage and like cut her ankle open and was telling me about it. I'm like, I feel really bad, but I mean, I guess you were doing a really good job.
Yeah.
But when she gets stressed, she like loves talking to people. So if she had bad habits, I'd be like, oh, you should call a friend first instead of doing
Right.
like whatever like destructive or bad behavior that you're doing. Whereas for me, I hate talking when I'm upset. Like that would be
Mhm.
torture for me to be like, oh, let
Yes.
me call someone and talk about it.
That sounds horrible to me.
Right? Where that would never work for me, but it might work for someone else. But
Yep.
I can, if I write or if I read or if I go on a walk, I can calm down. So I can find positive swaps to my habits, knowing
Mhm.
myself and like understanding, oh, I can try this, or oh, I could do this differently. So, and if you like, say you were like, okay, I want to work on health specifically and I want to create a habit, you'd literally sit and plug and play with the cue, routine, and reward. So you could say, okay, right now I want to work. My goal is that I want to feel confident in my body. For that, you could be like, okay, the first thing I'm going to try is I'm going to start going on just a 10-minute walk or a 20-minute
Mhm.
walk every day. You'd want to set a cue. So you could say, okay, every day at 12 o'clock, I know that's when I'm going to have lunch, or that's like around the time I have lunch. I'm going to do the routine of going outside, going on a 20-minute walk, listening to an audiobook. And then my reward is I'm slowly working towards getting to the place where I feel confident. Or you could say, okay, I'm going to try that habit. And then also every night before bed, my cue will be when I'm brushing my teeth, my routine will be saying like 3 positive affirmations in the mirror, because you can start
Mhm.
rewiring your identity with
Yeah.
like that repetitive positive self-talk. And then the reward there is you're still working towards that goal. So when you pick a goal for yourself, you can kind of backtrack and be like, what little things could I try to build as habits that will help me reach it?
Oh my gosh. I'm like, there are so many things that come to like my brain when you say all these things. You guys, every year I tell myself I'll get better about meal planning, and every year life gets busy and it kind of falls apart. So, what finally clicked for me is realizing meals don't have to look one specific way, they just have to fit your life and your lifestyle. And that's what Marley Spoon does really well. What I love is that Marley Spoon actually adapts with you. Some nights you cook, some nights you heat, and some nights you need dinner done fast. They've got options for all of it, so that meals fit your schedule and not the other way around. And it helps me eat well without overthinking it. Everything is chef designed and made with quality ingredients and balanced enough to feel good about. And another thing I love is that they have over 100 recipes to choose from each week. We're talking comforting classics to fresh, balanced dishes. Marley Spoon has tons of options in their marketplace, from meal shortcuts and drinks to fresh groceries that you can add on each week. And for those nights when you need dinner like yesterday and you're like, wait, how did it get so late? I need to do bath time. Like, I need the meal done. Marley Spoon's prepared meals are exactly what they sound like: very convenient, delicious, and on the table in minutes. Just what we need. I mean, literally lifesavers when you don't feel like cooking. This new year, fast track your way to eating well with Marley Spoon. Head to marleyspoon.com/offer/Sunday for up to 25 free meals. That's right, up to 25 free meals with Marley Spoon. That's marleyspoon.com/offer/Sunday for up to 25 free meals. Some people might call me dramatic. Other people are just going to call me pregnant. I brought Olipop, a few cans of the Shirley Temple Olipop, all the way to my family's vacation. Okay. And I have not been mad about it. What was my bag over a few pounds? Maybe, but it was well worth it. So here I have the Olipop Shirley Temple flavor. and it tastes so good. You guys, Olipop is a new kind of soda that combines the classic soda taste with the benefits of a functional ingredient blend to support digestive health. Olipop is reimagining soda with high fiber and low sugar, and they don't have to skimp on the taste, okay? This taste of this Shirley Temple flavor. I love all the Olipop flavors, but this is just my recent pregnancy craving, and it tastes so good and so fresh, and I know it's not packed full of bad things. It's actually meant to help me. This is an original mocktail, so like Olipop released this flavor just in time for dry January, although I have been dry for quite a few months now, and it's the original mocktail that made not drinking more fun. Although I would have these at any time of the day. And it's a flavor that everyone can feel good about. It supports digestive health with real ingredients and less sugar. And you guys, I mean, prebiotics, botanicals, plant fiber, it's just a new kind of soda, and I'm here for it. I mean, what other cans of soda can you say that supports your digestive health? Not many. Right now, you guys can get a free can of Olipop. You can buy 2 cans of Olipop in store, and they'll pay you back for 1. It works on any flavor, any retailer, and the URL is drinkolipop.com/Sunday. Olipop is sold online at drinkolipop.com and Amazon, and available in the soda aisle and with the chilled beverages at thousands of retailers nationwide, including Walmart and Target. So cheers to not only being in Mexico, but also bringing my favorite drink to Mexico. Cheers to Olipop Shirley Temple. It's literally so good. I feel like as a mom, like people say like, oh, I don't have a lot of time for myself. So like what especially for the people listening, what for busy moms do you think is like some of the best habits to like start creating or like things to change?
I think the number one habit for any busy mom would be finding a small pocket of time that you can set for just you. So it's kind of like a broad answer, but basically creating, whether it's in the morning or night or during nap time or just a set time where you can focus on yourself. So building 30 minutes into your day. So for example, like say you have to wake up earlier to create that time for yourself. Within that time, you could sit and look at your own life and say, here's where I'm struggling or here's where I want to improve. And this is what time I can use to do it. So I think the habit of actually sitting and creating that pocket of time for yourself is the most important. But then depending on
tell your husband, like, can I have an hour to go and, like, think about some of these habits I need to create?
Yeah, like, even sitting with, like, your partner and saying, okay, every day at 5 p.m., this is, like, a non-negotiable. I'm going to go in the basement or I'm going to go in my room and close the door, and this is time where you can then, like, just for 30 minutes, focus on yourself. Or say you want to wake up early and create that time. But one of my favorite habits for moms, and this is just based off of, like, my mom, my younger sister's mom, my older sister's mom, and where I've seen them struggle most, where I've helped them, is there's no time for themselves. So first creating that time, but then also little things like help their mental health throughout the day. So like they get really stressed out with like, there's so much going on, and having a child's like unpredictable. Cause like you don't know if they're going to wake up and be like an angel or like be crazy.
You just don't know anything.
Yeah. You can't predict it all the time. So having like one small habit I like teaching them is one of them's out of nap time, but when they do nap, having a 5-minute quick tidy up, and that's it. So it's like not overwhelming. It's 5 minutes. You're not cleaning your entire house. It's okay, what small space can I get done in 5 minutes? It's going to help me feel less overwhelmed. Or creating time in your nighttime routine to do that, just like a 10-minute pick me up at the end of the day once the baby's asleep. Finding those small little things that help with like your mental health. But then also for moms, finding time for yourself, whether it is literally 5 minutes, 30 minutes to do something. Say you want to start journaling, you want to have time to read,
something
you want
that's not
to have
like
time.
Cleaning.
Yeah.
Because I
something
see all
for
these
like
moms
yourself
during nap time, like doing things that like they didn't get to when like their child was awake. And I'm like, but when I think about that, I'm like, and that's an hour like you're still dedicating towards other people.
Yeah.
So that I can only say like that's why moms feel like their cup is like so empty. I'm like, take that hour and like try and dedicate it to yourself in whatever way. And even if that's like what, like 5 minutes of cleaning, like, oh, just do it. It's like set a timer for 5 minutes and then you're done.
Yeah.
Or it's like set a timer for 10 minutes and journal and then clean.
Yeah. I think too, I like the habit stack of walking and like rotting on social media because you get to do like something that you really want to do while working on like your health, if that's like a goal that you have for yourself. But I also think that like from my perspective, just with my sisters, moms put everyone else before themselves. So being able to create a small pocket of time for yourself, really, if it's only 5 minutes or 10 minutes, that will be like life-changing where no one can interrupt it, which is why I'm such a big advocate for waking up early, because usually you can like outbeat everyone. Like everyone's asleep. So like no one can like all of a sudden need you to do something.
Mhm.
Like you don't need to like make food for your child. You don't need to like help them with a task or like do homework. Like nothing's going to pop up if you create that time. But then also depending on when a child goes to bed, you could create that time for yourself at night too.
Yeah.
I'm just more of an advocate for the morning. But really, it's whatever works for your schedule.
The popping up thing is probably the thing that I see like the most problems with as a mom, because I'm like, oh, like I could easily be like, oh, every day I'm gonna wake up at 5, but if I'm like one day my daughter's like, I want to wake up at 6 a.m. and I'm like, oh, there goes my entire routine. Like now I feel shitty the rest of the day, where it's like, oh, what is a way I can incorporate my daughter into my wellness routine? Is that going for a stroller walk like during her nap time instead? Or is that like going for a walk with friends? That way she can see friends and I'm still getting a walk in. So I feel like that's like the hardest part, is like, how can you make a routine that's like uninterrupted?
Yeah.
Like, or not going to have interruptions.
For that's where like a plan B routine would come in. So
Okay.
like I have my set routine, which when something pops up, so like for example, say I have a doctor's appointment and I know that I can't go on a walk the next morning, or say just anything happens, I'll have my normal routine, but I'm not like sick, like it's nothing like crazy,
Yeah.
that I know I can still do it. And I'll have a plan B where, okay, I can't walk, but I know that at lunchtime I'm going on a walk. So like for you could say, okay, here's the 3 things I'm doing every single morning. Say Scotty wakes up early.
Mhm.
What I'm going to do then is go to my plan B where I know we're going to go on a walk after lunch.
Okay.
Or say for my nighttime routine, what I do is if I get home, like if I'm going to dinner or someone's birthday and I
Mhm.
don't have like an hour to reset my whole house, I'll say, okay, the next day I can plan in advance. I'm not going to go on that hour walk. I know I can push it and I can use that time to make sure I'm still aligned. I still feel good.
Mhm.
It's kind of having like a little bit, even if it's like a 20-minute routine, having that routine down, and then a plan B of, okay, I can't do everything, but I can
Yeah.
still do this one thing and I'm still going to feel really good
Mhm.
about it, or I can add it in somewhere else.
It's almost just like sitting down and planning is like the hardest part.
Yeah, and kind of like knowing where to start. That's why
Yeah.
for anyone listening, my number one piece of advice is to start, but start so small with
Mhm.
one small habit that you could do rain or shine, even if you feel really great, even if you like feel motivated, you don't feel motivated, like making your bed, like one small thing that you can
Mhm.
do every single day, because then you'll be able to actually see how you're building it as a habit. You'll run into like little challenges and you'll work through it.
Mhm.
And then you'll be set up for success to build on top of that, or understand, okay, now I want to try adding in a new thing, and I'm going to start small and slowly
Right.
start progressing based off of that. So like starting so important, but just starting small. Because especially with New Year's too, people are like, okay, I'm working out 5 days a week. I'm waking up at 5 a.m.
Right.
every day, where you pack on like 10 things. And then you're like, why did I think that was like what? You set yourself up for failure, where if you start small, you're setting yourself up for success.
Mhm.
Have you ever done where like you decide you're gonna get rid of all of your clothes and like go through your entire closet, and then you
Yes.
get like an hour in and you're like, I hate myself. Like,
Ye-
why did I
Right.
think that I could do that? That's like my favorite example of, it's like a really sporadic choice that you make. Whereas if you said, okay, every night before I go to bed, I'm gonna go through one drawer. I'm gonna go through one section of my closet.
It's so it feels like so much smarter, right? Like it
Yeah.
feels like duh. Like why would I not do that? But
But it takes a second to like see that that's what the key is to it working for you.
is it because it's not like instant gratification?
That's another thing too, that a lot of people, the rewards for these habits, like creating the habit of working out, you're not going to see those rewards up front. It is more of a long-term
Yeah.
thing. But having those like small wins that you're building on. So like, for example, say you want to start getting like your room organized and having a clean space, but you start by making your bed. You find kind of what your reward is, so that you can kind of hold on to that every day and see that. So like, I love taking a picture of my bed when it's made, because I just feel like it's like, wait, I'm like actually have my life together. Like I'm just one of those people that makes my bed, and that's a reward
Am
for
I
me.
better than everyone
No,
else?
it literally is. I'm like, oh my God, that's me to my husband. I'm like standing over him. I'm like, he's probably going to keep sleeping for another 30 minutes and I'll be out the door. But
like,
it's like
whatever.
those little wins. It really is. It does come down to like, you can't feel the win from a long-term goal.
Mhm.
But on that note, something else that I really like to do if I have a harder habit is I'll buy myself, or like have little rewards that I'm working towards.
Okay.
So like say I'm starting a habit where I like after my nose job, I wasn't waking up at 5 a.m. for 6 weeks because I had nothing to do. Like I was like, wait, I literally can't work out. Like
Yeah.
I'm just bored. So when it came down to I was cleared to work out again, I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna, instead of just going and waking up at 5 a.m., I'm gonna give myself like 2 to 3 weeks to like slowly get back there.
Mhm.
And because it's a harder habit and it's kind of a long-term thing I'm working towards, I started getting myself little things at the end of the week. Then I'm like, okay, like I
Okay.
know like at the end of the week, I'm getting my favorite, like I'm getting myself a book, or I'm gonna go to the bookstore, or oh, I'm gonna get my favorite coffee. Like things to look forward to give you that reward when the real rewards kind of like pushed off and something that you don't get gratification from like every single day.
It sounds like you also need like self-discipline too, right? Like you could easily go to the bookstore.
Yeah, and just be like,
wait, I just actually need a new book. But like having the, I don't know, like self-discipline to be like, no, I'm going to follow through. And if I don't, like I don't get that reward.
And the discipline comes from the small habits also.
Okay.
Instead of like the sporadic big life changes. It's when you tell yourself you're going to make your bed every day and you do it and you follow through, you're building discipline. Like you're building a habit, but you're building that discipline at the same time. So they kind of go hand in hand, where you'd rather focus on building discipline than like I'd rather be disciplined than motivated, because I know that I'll show up and do what I tell myself that I'm going to do 10 times out of 10, even if I'm not motivated.
Well, yeah, motivation can like also like if you get to the point where you want to like health-wise, you're like, well, I'm no longer motivated, then I would just give up.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point in like continuing to work. So it's like the discipline matters more than the motivation.
Yeah, and building the discipline. Motivation, a lot of people get stuck on motivation because they're like, well, I just don't feel like motivated to do this, where I feel motivated like maybe 50% of the time of my life. Like habits are crazy too, because you don't need motivation. Habits are like automatic behaviors that you
just choose to do it.
That you like you don't even have to like have a second thought. So like one of my favorite examples is like you wash your hands after you go to the bathroom, because that is a habit. You would never have a second thought about it. You know what I mean? Like you'd never be like, just not gonna wash my hands today. You don't have to think and make that choice because you've already made it so many times. It is a behavior that you do no matter what.
Yes.
That's like the basis of why you like when you create handpicked habits, the goal is to have it become automatic, which is also why there's habits that we don't even realize that we can change, because they become so automatic that when you start thinking about it, you can backtrack on it. But wait, what was I gonna say about that? Oh, for example, I hurt my foot actually in the stupidest way ever. Have you heard of candlesticking?
No.
Okay. I Googled it because I was going to say this on my Instagram story, like, oh, I hurt myself candlesticking. But then I looked it up and it was like a messed up definition. So it's not. If you look it up, it's not what it is. It's like in gymnastics when you like put your feet in the air, like you're laying on your back. My sister told me to do it to get pregnant, and she's a baby. So I was like, oh, I want a candlestick. Like after you try to do it.
Yeah.
So I was doing that and I flipped over backwards and hit my foot and hurt my foot so bad. And I felt so dumb. I'm like, the candlesticking is going to be the thing that took me out. But so this morning, because working out is such an established, and waking up at 5 a.m. is such an established habit, it didn't even clock in my head that like I hurt my foot and I probably shouldn't go to the gym, because I was like literally limping around the house and I'm like, this is so dumb. But I went to the gym this morning, and when I got there, I'm like, wait a minute, should I have done this? Like I just
like you just did it because it was you're just used to doing that.
There's just not a second thought. Like I'm like, oh, I wake up and I go to the gym, and then I'm literally like limping. I'm like, maybe I should have thought like for 10 seconds, maybe I shouldn't have done this.
I want to get to that point of my routine where I'm like, wait, I don't have to do this, but like I'm doing it.
You just do it because you want to. And that's what what's so cool about like when I felt like I understood habits, I felt like I understood truly how to change my life. Because if I were to tell you like, okay, if you wake up every single day at 7 a.m. consistently, you will like feel the actual benefits of it, and you will change your life, and you will become a morning person. And then 3 months later you did that and you were like, okay, I wake up now at this time without forcing myself, without dreading it. Like I just wake up this time. You'd be able to see like, okay, anything that I want to do, if I just trust the science and it's going to happen.
Yeah, it'll happen.
And that's kind of how I changed my entire life too, because I just was like, I got to trust the science. Like whoever wrote this book about habits, because I learned about habits originally from a book that I just got off Amazon because I was like so desperate to change my life. I'm like, hey, this guy seems so smart.
Now I need the book.
No, it's called The Power of Habit.
Oh, okay, I've heard of it.
It is so boring and so brilliant. So it's like, you got to just know that going into it, that you're going to be like, wait, I actually hate this. But then you'll be like, wait, I'll
do it while I'm doing something I enjoy.
Exactly. Perfect. It's like perfect. But when I read that, I'm like, okay, this guy is so smart. He already did all the research. If I just trust what he's saying and just try, I think my life will change. And it completely did. Like, it's like, I'm like, wait, everyone read that book.
This was actually like right.
I'm like, well, duh. I'm like, shoot. I'm like, who else is really? That's when I got into self-improvement too. Because I'm like, wait, all these people are so smart.
Self-improvement books are actually insane though. Like the like How to Be a Badass. I remember reading that book one day and I was like, oh, I'm gonna change my life. And like just the manifestation of like knowing like, no, I'm going to change. Like, no, I'm actually going to do this. And then you get it done. And you're like, wait, shit, like that was like real.
Well, you're like, wait, that was kind of easy. Like, I swear, understanding like what to do. Like the first step is the hardest part. And then like there's like mental roadblocks that we build in our brain that we don't even realize when we develop the mental roadblock or like the thoughts that we have.
The mental aspect, I think, is the hardest part.
Yeah. And then once you realize, like, I'll think like every single person has different upbringing, different experiences, like based on like relationships they had, families they were raised in, religion. There are so many things that could create thought patterns in your brain that if you stop and you're like, wait, why do I think that way? Why do I think that I couldn't wake up early if I wanted to? Why do I think, like, when you start challenging it and realize that you can handpick your thoughts, you can handpick the actions that you do every day, like you can change anything, it is just so powerful. Like you could change anything about your life.
Yeah, it's like, oh, if you don't like something, just change it.
Yeah, but it's
that
like,
sounds really
but it's
easy.
like, wait, but change it by one small step. When I think about what habits did for me over the course of the last 5 years, every single area of my life has changed. But if you like zoom in, it started with like a small choice to wake up a little bit earlier and to go on a walk. And then you can build from there. But it's really like the small choice where now I'm looking, I changed my body, my brain, my thoughts, my financial position, my career, my relationship, like every single thing I've been able to improve.
Just based off of like starting one thing.
Yes.
That was small.
One small intentional habit will change your life. And that's the key takeaway. One small choice is all you need, really, to create massive change.
So that. As we're wrapping up, I'm like, this is my last question. Heading into 2026, what is the biggest piece of advice you would give to somebody who wants to like change their life or like change one thing about them?
My biggest piece of advice is to sit down and find one small thing that's realistic, that you could keep consistent to start, and that is sustainable, that you could show up and do every single day, regardless of how you're feeling. So for example, making your bed, going on a 20-minute walk. You want to make whatever habit you choose attractive and easy. If I could suggest one habit to start with, which I wish is, I'm obviously so grateful for where I started and where I got to, but looking back, I didn't prioritize like any type of self-love or like thought pattern habits until I started changing my life in July of 2020 and until December of 2020. I did not try one thing for like my actual mental health.
Okay.
Where I would suggest starting to write, say, or read affirmations every day as the small habit that people start with, because your thoughts control everything. Your thoughts control your actions, your feelings, who you show up as. So intentionally creating positive thoughts about yourself, your body, your life, your abilities, that is going to be the most like incredible, beneficial. Like you can truly transform your life by the thoughts that you tell yourself. Because if you think about it, say you've told yourself for years, like I'm ugly, I am lazy, I can't do this, I can't do that. You believe those things because you've created a thought pattern of it. But if you were like, wait a second, I'm just going to tell myself every day, like I am someone who makes healthy choices. I love my body. I am proud of myself. I'm hardworking. Over and over, if you tell yourself that, you will believe it. You literally will believe it, and it will change your feelings and it will change your actions, which will change your life. So my advice would be to start small with one thing that you can do every single day. Show up and do that thing. You're going to build discipline. But also if you're looking for a specific habit to start with, I'd say either writing affirmations or putting a sticky note on your mirror and reading it every single night before bed, little affirmations, or writing out affirmations in your notes app and putting it as your screensaver and reading it. So like a habit loop for that could be cue anytime that you look at your phone, routine, just reading through 5 affirmations on your screensaver, reward you're slowly changing your thought patterns or your habits. Or if you want to write them, my best advice to start writing habits for affirmations is cue if you do something in the morning every day, like you make coffee every single day or you let your dogs out every single day. Take whatever habit you do every single day and make that your cue. So right after you do it, so say cue, make coffee, routine, write in a journal that's left right next to that coffee maker, 5 positive things that you want to identify with, 5 positive qualities, and then your reward is you're slowly working on those thoughts.
So interesting. Man. Wow, I feel motivated.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I love talking about this stuff. I could literally talk about like habits, anything. I feel like my family gets so sick of me that they were probably so happy when I started doing social media because they're like, okay, finally she's talking to someone.
I want to have you back on the show like once you get pregnant and like once you're like starting a family and all of that, because I'm like I want to pick your brain even more. Like once some of these like outside factors like start to derail you a little bit.
I'm so excited. I'm sure my sisters are really excited too.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. I think that will be such a fun phase for me to be like stumped for a second and be like, oh shit, I gotta figure this out.
Like,
but yeah, I would love to come back.
Where can the people find you on social media?
On social media, on Instagram and TikTok, my username is just Shelby Sacco 5, and then I have a podcast called Sad to Savage, And if you're listening to this way in the future, I have a book coming out,
Ooh.
but not until 2027. So I'm like, oh man.
You're like, okay.
But I'm like, stay tuned.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we look forward to seeing you next Sunday.